I'm sharing with you some of what we have used, some of what I have personally used, helping financial advisors who are my clients close more deals and use our hyper customized outreach to get closer to their ideal client. These are some of the challenges that we have had to overcome with each advisor, and I'm going to share them with you in hopes that we learned something from Seven Figure RIA when reflecting and when looking at this, and all my employees, as they watch this, get to understand what goes into the thought process behind helping someone overcome objections or overcome initial objections, as well as helping organize the outreach we have and the methods we have in a way that leads closer to getting to an ideal client's heart, an ideal client's feelings. Ultimately, what we're trying to accomplish is a relationship. And so, starting with some of the initial points we have to overcome, everyone has a notion in their mind of what a financial advisor is going to be, or they've worked with a financial advisor. They have already defined what that person does, how they interact, what they're doing in the relationship, so that if we were to interject in any way, if we were to interrupt in any way, they're expecting certain things. And so a pattern interrupt, like we provide our advisors, has to be unique. It's inherently unique. And so we try to overcome some of these points: authenticity, credibility, knowledge that a financial advisor or a prospect has about a financial advisor. We have to overcome those objections, like, I'm best friends with my advisors. That would fall under authentic. Or my advisor works with a team. Credible. Or my advisor is a CFP, a CFA, and an AAMS. They know everything there is about the stock market. These are all these factors. There are all these factors that go into someone's reasons, because nobody wants to feel like they're wrong. These are all things that go into someone's reason for working with the person they're working with. They always want to feel like that they're working with the best, or the optimal option. So, how do we get over authenticity? There are a few things. What you've done, the work you've done with someone in the past, in close groups, with people they know, is vital. It's important. John, I've worked with other Lockheed Martin engineers. Why don't we connect on some of the things we've accomplished with them, so that way I can show you maybe some options that you may not be doing. I'm immediately providing input. I'm immediately providing background, building my credibility, and I'm being authentic with, these are some things that I've accomplished. So you're providing a background. And as you notice, with our outreach, and probably as my mind is operating, people are noticing that I become more tilted and my language is more geared towards yes, no, let's move on sort of conversation, or at least when I'm in work mode, I feel like a robot. That is what, when you solve one of these facets, one of these these characteristics, you'll realize that you're solving for parts of other ones. So when I'm being very authentic, I may not have to be really building my credibility or really demonstrating my knowledge in the space. Though it's helpful, and though it's important, some of these things matter to certain people more than others. Increasing your authenticity and your personality. That can shine through, and the reason I showed that guitar is there are things, social groups, events you may be a part of that supersede your work life, and that supersede your recipient's work life. Those are areas that you can connect, and once you do, you can mold, and you can take that place that someone may have with an advisor. If someone has an amazing relationship with a family friend or a family member who's a financial advisor, it's very difficult to separate. But what you may create is an opportunity to be one-to-one, or an opportunity to work for that business. The work you've done, like I'd said before, leveraging your background with some of their relative prospects, people within a similar area, That is very useful. Also, obviously, you can talk about this is actually not supposed to be here, but I'll get into credibility and what that means in the context of relating to a financial advisor, relating to marketing for a financial advisor and getting closer to your prospect. So, building credibility comes in certain ways. On social media, you can think about how much time you spend on there, active, commenting, liking, engaging with your community, as well as how much you post, reach out to people. That's credibility. You're building that when you're reaching out. When you're talking about other people and emulating who is credible and how can I relay my credibility in a way that's similar to when you think of that occupation, it's similar to a lawyer, similar to a doctor, similar to someone who has higher credence or typically is perceived at a higher status. That is going to be a good thing to emulate. And that word emulate just means copy and do better. So think about, how is a lawyer communicating with his clients? How is he presenting himself? Use that. What's better? What's better for my industry? What's better for my personality? Include your personality. The authenticity will shine through. So I gave you some examples. CEO, doctors. I was going to write eye-catching media personality. It depends. If you're talking about political candidates, it seems like neither are right, but they're both right. Depends on who you listen to. So credibility can be increased over time. That's a really, really important thing when you're reaching out to someone. Know that the first time you interact with them, they may not say yes, but the second, third, fourth, fifth time, you're building that relationship. You're a constant reason for them to open your email or consider another part of their financial life. And you're inculcating your style of financial advising into their life, and that's vital. Knowledge is power. The way you relay the information that you know to your client, when you're simplifying complicated concepts or simplifying difficult concepts, sometimes the complicated concepts don't need to be simplified. Sometimes you can just relay the complicated item to someone, and it does not have to be, oh, I understand this, because some people will take that, oh, you made this so stupid and so easy, and they'll know that it's not that stupid and so easy, so you're obviously missing something. And so use caution when simplifying everything. You can simplify everything. You can simplify a lot of things, but don't overstep the idea that there are complicated things and there are simple things. With new information, you can overcome someone's notion that my advisor is the smartest guy I know. Guess what? When you tell someone, hey, you've got a Roth savings plan included in your 401k, I bet you're not using. Well, their advisor didn't take the time to go over their employee benefit summary. So now there's an opportunity for you to express new information to that person, build your knowledge, build the knowledgeability factor, and introduce new concepts to them. Insight into their current position. This is based on if you have foreknowledge of where they are in life. Are they 45 years old? They have 2 kids. They're married and they live in the suburbs. What are some things that you, based on your experience, know about someone in that scenario? Obviously, you're not going to know the smorgasbord that comes along with someone's life, but you'll be able to give them some insights, immediate actionable insights into, hey, have you considered this, this, and this? Actively providing them with input that you know to be true based on their position is important. And overcoming the idea that how can you help me if you know nothing about me? That's going to be one of the biggest factors that probably a qualified client is thinking. Someone with a financial plan is going to say, how can you give me advice on my financial plan if you don't, or how can you give me financial advice if you don't know my place? Well, so-and-so, have you heard of statistics? obviously not being derisive with your comments, but knowing that this is one of the most common objections when you're talking to a sophisticated buyer, and typically investors are going to be more sophisticated in the idea that we're talking about someone who's not just going out and buying gum, they're buying something that potentially is costing them tens of thousands, potentially hundreds of $1,000s over their lifetime. Know that they're going to have, more often than not, complications that you're not aware of. In addressing that I solve complications that my clients weren't aware of themselves. No, having a little hook in that immediately, or having the fire extinguisher ready so that when this arises, you can already tell them, hey, we're all wearing fire retardant clothing, it's not going to spread. You've already accomplished this by addressing this preconceived, or this notion. General knowledge is not going to get you far when you're using hyper customized outreach. You have to know where someone is in order for you to craft sufficiently relevant material that makes sense to them and that is appealing enough for them to continue reading. And when I say that, immediately things come to mind of what is bad material? How have I been marketed to? How have I been told I need something that's not relevant to my life? People have told me, you need life insurance. Do I? Do I need life insurance? I have people telling me yes, I have people telling me no. It depends on certain factors of my life. And if someone just assumes you're a business owner, you need life insurance, without having proper contextual information that, oh, you're a small business owner in North Carolina and you happen to not be taking advantage of this tax loophole, you might be able to take advantage of it with life insurance. That's a much more appealing offer because there's certain specifics that you can draw from. And those that I had just mentioned are all publicly available information, or information made publicly available. Knowing that there is not just one way to solve the problem, to skin the cat, to get your book bigger with higher quality clients is the first step towards becoming a better advisor, or becoming a bigger advisor. And if your goal is to grow your firm, reach a new audience, or reach a higher quality in terms of AUM or in terms of fee derived from audience, consider the opportunities that you have today. You have software like Clay that aggregate data sources that allow you to understand a prospect to up to so many times greater than years ago. You've got LinkedIn, an amazing resource that allows you to pinpoint what someone has said, understand their personality, understand the way they communicate. You have Facebook, Instagram, all of these things where you can derive company data to understand where does this person work, and what do they like, and what are the certain facets of their work-life balance may not consider, as well as what is some 550 data, what's their employee benefits data, like what's publicly available online. There is a variety of things that we've built out for clients that have helped them accomplish the where is my client. And so mapping out what your client is, and I think our next video will be mapping out your client. What is your ideal client and where are they? Because that will give you the insight, and it will inform you you'll be able to make the informed decision of who do I need to target to get closer to your goals. Hope you enjoyed this. I know this was a longer video, but covered a lot. We can talk about it if you'd like to leave a comment. Have a great rest of your day.